Today's Samurai Remnant servant is Saber. Saber's true identity is Yamato Takeru. Takeru exists in that in-between phase where myth and history mingled to create legends, and his story is one that would be recorded officially in the Japanese collection of histories known as the Kojiki, recorded over 500 years after the fact. In brief, this is his tale. Takeru was born to Emperor Keiko in what is believed to be 72 AD. At this time, Emperor Keiko ruled over the kingdom of Yamato, whose lineage is still on Japan's throne to this day. Takeru was originally called Wo Usu no Mikoto, and was seen as a patriotic yet unpredictable figure feared for his immense strength. To further this, at one point Emperor Keiko requested Takeru to reprimand his older brother who was disrespectful, and so, Takeru ripped him limb from limb. The sources vary on why what happened next did. In the Kojiki, his father sent him away to a far-off part of the kingdom to suppress a rebellion, and in the Nihon Shoki, another collection of Japanese histories, he volunteered to do so. In both incidents, he overcame the rebelling force by cross-dressing as a woman and joining them during a celebratory banquet. After the rebels had become drunk, Takeru was able to sidle up to the leader and murder him with a knife or sword, sending the others into a panic and thus ending the rebellion. It was from this action that he got the name Yamato Takeru, which translates to the Brave of Yamato. At the time of this killing, he was almost 16. Despite this victory, Emperor Keiko remained uneasy around his son and had him sent to the east to suppress another settlement of people who did not recognize the emperor as such. It was with this sending off that Takeru came to realize that his father wished for him to die, and lamented his fate to the one other member of his family who cared for him, his aunt, the Shrine Maiden of Ise. Taking pity on her nephew's fate, she bestowed to him a divine treasure for protection, the blade Ame no Murakumo no Tsurugi, that the storm god Susanoo had taken from the tail of the great serpent Orochi. With this blade for protection, he set out to the east. Arriving at his first destination, Takeru wanted to hunt to resupply for the rest of the journey. Bandits in disguise told him that there was a nearby moor where many deer gathered to graze on the long grass. Taking them at their word, the young prince went on to hunt. When he arrived, he didn't find any deer, but instead flames began to surround him, set by the bandits. Desperate for a way out of the surrounding flames, he took his divine sword and cleaved away large swaths of the grass. These set fire to large patches away from him and drove the bandits out while keeping him safe. This action of cutting away the grass is why the divine sword is now known as the kusanagi, or the grass-cutting sword. So something that I've neglected to get into is that all the while on his travels, Takeru had been killing malevolent kami, or gods. This is something that's not really gone into too much detail, as opposed to just saying he slayed malevolent kami. However, it was out on the ocean when a sea god decided to punish the young prince, leaving him at the mercy of the waves with a massive storm. It was here that his wife, Oto Tachibana Hime, threw herself into the churning tides to appease the god. 7 days later, her comb washed ashore and was buried in memorial. Initially, the rebels had heard tell that the prince was coming and had waited along the shorelines for him in great numbers. But upon seeing the prince in what one can only imagine was a mixture of rage and despair at the loss of his wife, the opposing side forfeited without a fight. Having fulfilled his duty, he planned to return home. He spent some time in the eastern lands and opted to travel home by foot. Along the way, he began killing more and more kami, and as he did, he became more and more arrogant about it. He would remarry eventually, and at one point was told of the god of Mount Ibuki, that was known for its great strength. Takeru boldly declared that he would defeat it with his bare hands and left the kusanagi beside his wife while she slept before setting out. On the way, he came across a white boar fighting a white snake. Believing this to be a messenger from the god, he thought to try and kill it. But in reality, it was the god in disguise who took the opportunity to bring down a torrent of ice before lunging and biting Takeru, mortally poisoning him. Supposedly, the last words that Takeru said, dying alone and far from home, were that he could see the clouds rising in the direction of his home. He was around 30 when he died. Upon hearing the news, his father mourned the loss and had a tomb erected on the spot. From this, though, Takeru's soul became a white bird which flew into the air. It landed in 2 other places across Japan where 2 more tombs were erected, and then finally it flew to the heavens. He is a figure often compared to King Arthur, as they did share some similarities. Possibly the key difference here is that there is a historical precedent that Takeru may have been a real person, versus Arthur, who seems to be more inspired by the actions of either one or more real people. Both were royals who acted to unite their lands under one king with the assistance of a divine sword, and both would die because of not being in the possession of said sword. It is for this reason that Takeru appears as a Saber face in-game. Also, an ongoing question in the Fate community is trying to decipher Saber's gender. This is something that's never officially addressed in Samurai Remnant, and while both concept art and an upcoming DLC costume portray them in a more feminine form, I'd like to remind you all that this is in fact Fate. So in reality, their gender is yes, and would. For now though guys, thank you so much for watching, stay tuned for more quick history coming at you soon, subscribe to keep up, and I'll hopefully see you all very soon as well. Keep your chin up, peace.